we are here with the beautiful Latonya Godfrey, and she is the founder of the Actor Launch Studio. So before we get into this amazing project, how have you been since our last and your great time with us culture, and we're still going to be talking about the impact of culture. But you stepped out and done your thing, girl. So congratulations to you on
Thank
this
you. Thank
project. But
you.
how have you been since our last chat?
Maurice is still, the life of an actor is a tough one. Can you still hear me okay and see me okay? I want to make sure it didn't freeze up on us. Can you still hear me, Stevie? Let's see. I'm going to make sure. Yep. Let me know if you can still hear me because you're frozen on your end. I'm going to try to maybe go out and come back in, maybe. I'm going to try that. So I will be right back.
Okay, and we're back. We went out for a minute.
So was that on my end or yours? Is it mine?
That
Can you
was
still
on my end where I'm at. The connection is horrible, but we're going to
hear?
make
Okay.
it work. Yes,
Okay.
we were saying how are you since the last time we last spoke?
I'm doing good. The life of an actor, I'm the wife of an actor. So life of an actor is a really tough business. They're always auditioning. You audition, sometimes no times a week, sometimes 8 to 10 times a week. And you probably, if you're lucky, you might get 8 to 10% of what you audition for, but most time it's probably like 1%. So the last time we talked, Maurice had just finished Angel and Demon, and the success of that movie
Yes.
was so phenomenal. Nina Stacks, director, writer, producer, choreo, everything you want to think of, Nina Stacks does. So the movie did so well that they actually have a sequel to that they call Angel and Demon Legacy that comes out December the 8th on Tubi. So Maurice just finished wrapping that a couple weeks ago. So we're excited about that. It's going to be phenomenal. I think it's going to be better than the first one. So it was really good. So he just finished that. I'm still working, just trying to figure things out. You meet so many actors along the way. And what I found is that so many of them, have this raw talent. They don't understand the business side of what it takes to be a successful actor. So that's kind of what I've been trying to work on to try and help other actors like Maurice.
Absolutely. And what I love is that you and Maurice have a family venture going, not just you two, but collectively, your family, your children, everybody is in. And it's an actor that I've mentioned yesterday by the name of Tyrone Nathaniel. His mom
Mhm.
has a production company. So what I love is that working with your family, the perks of working with your family and building that structure, it goes a very long way. So
It
congratulations to
does.
both of you.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you. Yeah, you have to have a
Now,
team. I mean, another thing a lot of actors don't have is a support system. You start this business, people think that you're crazy, your family, your friends, but you need a solid support system. And so they kind of rally around each other for that too. They have little group chats and discussions about their auditions, somebody that's reading for them just to get the help that they need because you really do need a solid support system to be successful in any industry, but especially acting.
absolutely. And that leads us to the next part of our conversation, which is the Actor Launch Studio. When you messaged me,
Hmm.
because you guys know that my house burned down June 10th and I'm recovering from that. But I
Yes.
announced some good news this week. Me and my brother will be moving into my new home.
Good.
Yes, I'm a first time new homeowner, y'all. So
Thank
I'm
God. That's
excited
good. That's
for
good.
this change. The place is beautiful, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath,
That's
and
good.
I can't wait to decorate it. You know, I'm gonna put my fabulous touch on
Exactly.
it. But this right here, you messaged me. She messaged me. We've been texting before that week, before, way before it happened.
Yep.
And we
Yep.
had this set in the works. And you told me about the Actor Launch Studio. And I was like, go ahead, girl. I'm
Yeah.
here for it 100% that you are doing something to help
Mhm,
other actors out here because there's so many people that want to get into the business. Yesterday, I had Daylon Burks on the show. And that
mhm.
was something that we were touching on, which is understanding how to get into the business, understanding like the back of your hand how it works, going
Yep.
to casting calls, going to auditions. A lot of people think, oh well, you know, I can do this. It's easy, but it's not for the faint-hearted. You have to be dedicated and devoted to this. There's a lot of
Absolutely.
people that are hungry for it, just as you are hungry for it, and you have to make sure that you are paying your teachers, your instructors. My girl, Ro Underwood, who's done shows like Raising Canaan, she's an instructor.
Hmm.
The beautiful, my girl Latanya here, she works with her husband, mentoring. And that's how we first met, actually.
It
I was
is. Yep.
texting Maurice and I said, okay, our interview is on. And then she texts back, okay, who is this texting my man? Like this. And I'm like, oh, no, 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 we are doing an interview. But I was like, I love her. I love her. And we fell in love instantly. All three of us did the interview together. And that's how we are here now doing this girl talk because we talked about female filmmakers, which we'll get into. Shout outs to Nina Stacks. But there are so many after that. This girl talk is sitting around empowering Black women and the film industry. And not just empowering Black women in the industry, but Latanya, again, I can't give you your flowers enough, girl. But the Actor Launch Studio, tell us a little bit about that.
So, real quick, so I have been a civil engineer for about 25, 30 years. So, just a quick thing about civil engineers pretty much work in designing pretty much everything from bridges, roads, structures, wastewater treatment plants, you name it, we build it. And so, when Maurice said, hey, I want to pursue this acting thing, I'm like, okay, we're going to move to Atlanta. We sold our house, but we had to have a plan. And I've been a project manager for like 20 years. And so as a project manager, it's always about, time, scope, execution, what it takes to build a successful business. And I've helped people for years to start, new businesses. I worked in permitting to where people would come and say, hey, I want to open a restaurant. I want to open up a beauty salon. What do I have to do? So the process of doing that step by step, I walked them through that. And 95% of businesses fail, especially restaurants, in the first 5 years. You have
Yes.
to understand the concept of business. And so when he said, hey, I want to be an actor, I'm like, okay, that's great. You have the look, but the acting ability has to match the look. So you had to put a plan together. How are we going to do this? So, we started out, put a plan in action. When we got down here, headshots, trying to put together a reel. We weren't interested in getting an agent just yet because that comes, way down the road. We self submit a lot of stuff when we first started out. But I saw so many actors when he would be on set that didn't know where to start, didn't know what to do, didn't know what their castable type was. And so we just immersed ourselves in classes. We've had some amazing people that have helped us along the way. Wendy Elaine Wright runs the Talent Manager for Actors program. And we took that program and she talked to us about the importance of having a castable type. And the most important thing she said is that you have to be typecast in order to be cast. So the important thing for us was to determine what is Maurice's castable type. Is he a teacher? Is he a bodyguard? Is he a detective? What are we? Because how you come into this business is so important to determine how long you stay and how well you do. And so Maurice is a big guy, and so we started doing the Jupiter Entertainment. We started doing the failed attractions, the paybacks. Sometimes it wasn't speaking; it's just to get his face out there. And he became a castable type as a detective, and so that has carried through the last 3 years of his career. And so I started the Actors Launch Studio to help other people to understand what is the business of acting. What do I have to do to be successful at this? Because having a talent is one thing, but understanding how this business works is another. And what we found is in the last 3 years doing this, the business of acting in movies has changed so much since COVID, so much
Yes.
since the 2008 strike they had, the strike they had, 2 years ago. things are different. So you have to learn to pivot. So we didn't have the bad experience that other actors had who've been in the business for 20 years. So we didn't know what that was like. So to us, it's brand new. So we met so many folks that, hey, I've been acting for 11 years. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not doing anything. And we have folks that have been doing it for 2 months. And so I'm like, you know what? I want to try and help people to understand how to get started, what to look for, what to do, how to put together your actor's reel. What do you need to have in that? What's your castable type? What should your headshot say about you when somebody looks at you? The most important thing as an actor is classes. You have to stay in class, one-on-one coaching, acting classes once or twice a week. There is no way anybody in this business who comes in here can be successful without taking classes. No one starts as Denzel. Denzel didn't start as Denzel. So you have to understand how to act. And then, Maurice had another great coach a couple of years ago, Dwayne Boyd, who runs Premier Actor Studio here in Atlanta. And he said, acting isn't really acting. And that has always stuck with me for a long time. And so we got in classes, we started meeting people. And I said, you know what? I want to try and help other people like Maurice who are new in the business. So, I just started, the Actors One Studio. What we do is we sit down with you one on one. It's one on one. I am not an actor. I know great acting, but I'm not an actor. I don't promise success in this business, but I will tell you is if you follow these steps, you'll be more successful because you have the tools that you need to be successful. And so we sit down and talk about what your castable type is. We have some great photographers here in Atlanta that do really great headshots. Putting together demo reels. Some great guys that do that. And we just try to help actors put together a 30, 60, and 90-day plan of what it takes to be successful. Maurice has done, I think, tremendously well in the last 3 years. He has like 26 credits. He's SAG eligible. He's done a couple of SAG movies where he starred with, some pretty famous actors, Jamie Foxx, Vivica Fox. He did None of the Church movie. And the movie, didn't do so well at the box office, but his scene he did with Kiera Schroeder had over 8 million views on Instagram because it was just so funny. So we've been really successful. And, Maurice still has a long way to go because, again, acting, it takes time to understand how to be a really good actor, what that takes to do, and again, he's a black man. And I always tell him, you have to learn to be emotional, compassionate, tender on screen. He's really good at the
Yes.
cop detective role. He's amazing at that. So now we're trying to venture into the vulnerability side of being an actor, what that takes for him. So he's had some really great coaches. And I say again, coaching and mentoring is so important. Todd Anthony X here in Atlanta is amazing with script analysis. Break down the script, understand what the character's tone is, what you need from the character. Carl Kennedy has been amazing for us. He is Maurice's mentor, acting coach. He's a phenomenal actor here in Atlanta. And I always tell people when you look for somebody to coach or to teach you, make sure they're acting already. Look at their IMDb to make sure they have credits and they're still currently acting. You don't want anybody that hasn't done anything in 10 years because the business has changed so much. Now you have a lot of non-union independent filmmakers really being successful as opposed to those big screen. You go to the movie theater, spend $40 to watch a movie. Now people, you have the Silk Whites, you have the Leo Sullivans, you have the Nina Staxes, people that are really doing well in this independent space. And so you can be a successful actor in this area. And so I just try to teach people to understand what to look for, how to get themselves ready to receive an agent, how to look for an agent, what to submit to get an agent, that kind of thing. And so we've just been really successful. I just started this a couple of weeks ago, so we'll see how it goes.
And congratulations. And what I
Thank you.
love is you have so many courses from operational efficiency audit. You
Hmm.
have a full like digital transformation blueprint. But I want to piggyback off of what you just said about your husband, Maurice, and black men being able, as an actor, you have to be able, and me and Daylon was just talking about this yesterday, girl. We were talking about how an actor has to have range. We talked about Monique when she did the reading. We know
Hmm.
her as Nikki Tucker.
Yep.
But when she did the reading and when she did Precious, we
Yeah.
hated her
Yep.
so much. Like, you have to make that character so believable. Take it and make it your own. It's all about either people loving the character and related to it in some sort of a way, putting ourselves in the character's shoes, and then us hating the character. And trust, a lot of people will walk up to you after seeing the film and tell you exactly how they feel about it. But that's where you have to learn how to separate the person away from the character. You know, the actor who's
Absolutely.
portraying it. You turn it on and then you turn it off. Method acting. So I
Yep.
absolutely love that. But digital transformation blueprint. We're living in a day and age of AI. We're living in a day and age. And I touched on this with Candice Renee because she
Mhm.
uses AI in some of her work as well too. And we were talking about that, how film and technology, they both go hand in hand. Uh, Latonya, how do you feel as though 2027 or the year beyond is going to help filmmakers for the next generation?
That's a really good question. Like I said, things are really. I'm just getting into this, but things are really different than what they used to be, especially when it comes to the
Yes.
area of vertical shorts. Vertical shorts seems to be taking over the industry. That's been something that Japan has been doing for years, and you're starting to see that now in the Atlanta market. You know, Tay Diggs started his own vertical short production company. I believe Nina Staggs and a couple other folks have. Jason Louder started their own, vertical series production company where they're producing vertical shorts. So at first, people kind of were like, "Yeah, I'm not interested in that," But I think now SAG is actually getting into that business as well. And so one thing that we really have seen a difference in is, on Actors Access, there's a lot of vertical shorts. There's a lot of, independent, non-union productions that we're seeing more so than the big standards. And you can do really well with the vertical short. Maurice has done about six of those. And I think the SAG daily rate, I think it's like 12.42 a day, something like that. But some of the actors doing vertical shorts can make $800 to $900 a day on vertical shorts. Even a day player can get $200 or $300 a day. Hey, it's not SAG, but that's really good money if you're filming for 4 or 5 days. So that's one thing that I see that's so different with us coming in is that whole vertical short area. I mean, it's just blowing up everywhere you look. When you look on Actors Access, you'll see about 15 of those out there that they post every week. And so, Maurice has been on average getting about 6 or 7 auditions a week, and 80% of those are vertical shorts. And so at first we were like, do we want to do this? Is this really something we want to do? But again, you never know what will take you somewhere where you can pivot to the next. Starting in vertical shorts, he's met some actors who started doing those that are now on mainstream soap operas. So you never know where something can take you. So we try everything. There's nothing that we don't do. Maurice has been a stripper, a boxer. He's never stripped. He's never boxed. But look, the opportunity comes. I'm like, hey, we're going to do this, just to see where it can take us. Because you just never know. The point is to be visible, to be seen, to do quality work. So that could be in any arena. So that's the one thing that I see that's really different now is the rise of these vertical shorts.
Absolutely. And one other thing that you have that you offer is leadership development workshop. And as an actor being in this business, you're going to have the last time we were here, he was kind of upset. And what I love, Latanya, is that you were encouraging him. Like he was just like, I can't really say it. I know my worth. I'm not just going to go in and do this. Actors have what's called that period where things kind of slow up. And I was telling Daylon that yesterday when we had our chat. And the
Hmm.
replays, you guys can go and check it out. Where actors have like this spell. You're getting auditions. Yes, you're going in and you're getting the main role or next to lead role or somewhat extra. And then it's just like, hey, what's going on? Why am I not getting auditions? Why isn't my phone ringing? You have to
Hmm.
think outside of the box.
Yep.
And Latanya here, she's in Atlanta. I'm in South Carolina. And when I think of Atlanta, I think of Jermaine Dupri,
Hmm.
amazing, talented music producer, but y'all know who I'm going to refer to. That's Candy Burris.
Hmm.
Candy said after her group Escape, broke up, she's just like, okay, her and Tiny, what are we going to do? We have to do something.
Hmm.
So she got to writing for other artists.
Yep.
And Destiny's Child, TLC, and so many others. What I'm saying is, you have to take lemons and make lemonade.
That's right.
Make it work. Use
That's
your
right.
creativity. Get behind the lens. So I would encourage actors out here to get behind the lens instead of being in front of the lens. Tap into being behind the lens as well to write, produce, Get out here and write
And
because there's so many black filmmakers that are coming out.
And that's an excellent point. One thing that Candy Burris is amazing at, she is a true businesswoman because she knows how
Yes.
to pivot. Candy will take an idea again, Real Housewives. She turned that and she had her own spinoff, for I think for her wedding and then for her restaurant. She opened several restaurants here in Atlanta. Now she pivoted to Broadway. You have to take what you know sometimes and pivot, whether it's behind the screen, in front of the screen, create your own content. I see a lot of What's interesting is I'm on Threads a lot. I see a lot of established actors in Atlanta. These folks have been on, they've been series regulars, on things like Queen of the South. They've done everything for years, and right now, the market's really tight, and they're frustrated. There's not a lot of auditions coming through, but I see it differently because there are certain things that we will do. I guess maybe they may not audition for, like I said with the vertical shorts, because we didn't have that experience that they have. We're coming in here new and fresh. And so you have to be able to pivot and, look at doing other things, like you said, behind the camera, you know, create your own content. If you cannot get booked for something, then create your own, use that, you know, study, take train, take classes. You just need to really keep making sure you're learning to become a better actor. And sometimes, you do all the right things and it's really just not about your acting ability. Sometimes it's about a look. I was listening to one of the casting directors who just did a movie called They Took My Daughter that came out on, it wasn't on BET, it was on, I forgot what that was on. I just watched it. It was called They Took My Daughter. And it had some really great cast in it, but he was saying that sometimes you don't get the role because you don't have the right look. Either you're too tall, too short, too pretty, too ugly. I mean, this is a tough business. And sometimes Maurice doesn't get things simply because of the way he looks, and again, you can't outshine the person that's number one on the call sheet. You can't look better than that person. You know what I'm saying? You can't be super tall, and gorgeous. So a lot of times, actors get really frustrated because it's like, I'm doing everything right. I think I'm making all the right choices. What am I doing wrong? And sometimes you aren't doing anything wrong. They just went a different direction. And I always try and tell him to stay encouraged because, you're getting the audition. When you submit to Actors Access, I wish we knew the actual math that goes into it. Like, are they 1,000 to 900 submissions? But I know there's several hundred. So when you submit to Actors Access, there's probably 400 or 500 folks that submit, and a good 25 to 40 will get an audition. And those from 25 to 40, another 10 will get a call back. And then it's that one that they choose. And I don't know if you're old enough to remember Highlander, the series, but they used to always say
Yes.
there can only be one. There can only be one. So it's not that you're not good, but you're just not a good fit for whatever that may be. And so I always tell them to stay encouraged because casting directors remember you. And there is no doubt in my mind that they know who you are. Maurice has submitted, I think last year he had 226 submissions. He had about maybe 40 or 50 auditions. He got maybe 4 or 5 different things. But when you look on Actors Access, I don't know if folks know this, you can click on the casting director, click on their name. It will pull up how many times they've submitted you. And Maurice has been submitted by several of those guys multiple times. And again, so that means, hey, there's something that they like, something that they see that they're interested in. It's just not the right fit. And also, actors need to understand it's not the casting director's decision, it's not their final decision. They're giving suggestions to the director. And so the director, they make their final decision of who they want. And so sometimes a CD can want this person so bad and advocate and fight for them, but the director's like, I want somebody else. So I was just telling some of Maurice's friends earlier, like it has to be tough to be an actor, because one of his, like I said, his mentor, Carl Kennedy, he is spot on. His auditions, man, spot on every single time to me. He has that one thing that a lot of actors that I wish had that, Maurice is getting there too. He's getting much better at is the confidence. So what I teach in my actor studio is really not about acting. It's about the confidence. I taught college math for 22 years as a math professor, and I wasn't teaching math. Yeah, I was teaching the math, but I'm teaching people to have confidence in their ability to do the math. Because when you have confidence and you know who you are, you're unstoppable, no matter what career field it is. And as an actor, that confidence comes out on the screen. And so people like Carl have this great confidence, and that's to me is what reels you in. But they don't get booked because they want somebody that's shorter, or they want somebody that has a beard or no beard or lots of hair. So I try to tell people just to stay encouraged, especially Maurice. Maurice gets so frustrated, but he's doing so doggone good. To be able to come down here in 3 years, and you've done two SAG movies, you got 26 credits, you got three movies coming out in the next couple months. He's doing phenomenal. But he's like, my pockets don't say so. But again, people always say you'll be famous before you'll be rich. And so I just, we just keep pushing. That's all you can do is keep pushing. Don't give up, because the moment you give up is the moment where the opportunity comes and you've lost it. So we don't quit over here. So we're going to keep pushing and keep doing what we need to do for him to be successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what actors have to learn in this business. You're not going to always, get it right off the bat, but that's where that training comes in. That training, going to workshops, understanding your coaches,
Yep.
talking and communicating and networking. And that's what it is in this business.
Yep,
So
and
remember
that's
that.
another point you make. It's so important for actors. I will say this: when you get in a class, make sure you're in a class where that person accepts you for who you are, is patient with you, because he's had some, I'll be honest, some really shitty instructors, bad instructors, who just, sometimes it's the perception. And unfortunately, he's had that, they have this perception of who they think he is. If he's an attractive guy, some muscular guy, oh my God, he's stuck up, or he thinks he knows more. No, it's important to get with teachers that will accept you for where you are, who are extremely patient with you. And don't make you feel less than. Because again, as a teacher, I always wanted to again build that confidence in my students. You should never, it's already tough as an actor to begin with. This business is hard. So I don't want to go to class and get beat down as well too. I'm getting beat down outside of class. So you need to be with somebody who really cares, who is sincere, and who wants to see you succeed. And that's really important. So on top of that person being a working actor, make sure they really care about you and what you're doing and want to see you successful. So that's really important.
Absolutely. And speaking of strength, Latanya, a question I also wanted to ask you for both of us as Black women. What practices and tools are you using to create emotional safety and freedom, not just for Black women, but Black people, Black creatives as a whole? Because I look at you and I see this businesswoman. When you sent me that you were launching a workshop to help actors, that you were doing your own thing, I was like, oh, I got to make sure that I'm supporting, and I'm gonna have you and Maurice back on the show again once I'm settled in the new place. I would love
Yeah.
that because that was amazing for all three of us to just talk about Black culture,
Mm-hmm.
because we are still making an impact. We just seen the recent BET Awards, and I must say that was what we needed from everything that's going on outside in the real world, to see a night where Black culture can come together and celebrate. That is dynamic. But what practices are you using and tools that help
Mm,
everybody?
that's a really good question. What I, need to get better about, again, we moved here from Atlanta, from Kansas City, Missouri, and I had a support system, I had a network, I had a community back home. So that has been the challenge for me, is trying to build that community down here. I'm part of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, which is a great sorority. Shout out to my Deltas. And so we have 9 chapters here in Georgia. So I find that community, sisterhood, getting with people that are like-minded, people that want to see you be successful, as well, is really important. So that's something that I need to get better about. Is I rely heavily on other people and community and friendships, mentorships, people that I can feed into them, they also can feed into me. And you need that as a Black woman down here, especially again, I'm still a practicing civil engineer. And Atlanta, Georgia is a tough place to be an engineer. It's still, it's still that good old boy system. 90% of the people I work with are white, older white men. I'm in the construction industry, so it's not a lot of us in that business. And so you need to have a community of sisters, who love you and support you outside of your career to help you to be successful because it can beat you down. I'll be, hate to say, I don't look it, but I'll be 55 next Wednesday. And I've been an engineer for 30 years. And I have seen this industry, it's gotten better, but we still have a ways to go. We still have a ways to go where we see people of color that are successful, being promoted, being put in positions of leadership in the engineering field. And so that's why I look at this acting field and I really enjoy it. I love going on set with Maurice because I'm nosy and I'm a talker. Maurice, he's an actor, so they're trying to figure out their character and get into acting mode and understand. I'm like, hey, how you doing? What's your name? I'm like, I'm talking. I want to learn because I want to know what people do. I want to understand this business. And I just watch, like I said, Nia Stacks. I just watch her on set, and she is just phenomenal. She and I think alike. I'll see something and I will think it in my head and she says it out loud. So having that community is so important. It's so important. So that's kind of what helps me is community of sisters who have a like-minded, who are career focused, career oriented, and not stuck in a box and want to do something different.
And shout outs to Slick Installations. Its construction is tough. My God. And that was going to be another question that I wanted to ask you as well too. Challenging the massage you are because we see it with Jasmine Crockett. We see it with so many black women who are in these powerful positions where it's like everything is male dominated. And like you said, we still have a long ways to go. So how are you disrupting the system of the challenges that we as Black women
So
face with
one
this
thing that we
massage
try to
world?
do, yeah,
Yeah.
one thing that I try to do is I haven't done it as much here in Georgia, but I try to go into the high schools. We try to talk to young girls to get them in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, to get them to start to go into those programs in college because there is still a need for that. There's scholarship opportunities to be able to get full ride
Yes.
scholarships for engineering. And it's a really great opportunity to start out doing that and can lead to other things. Because again, like I said, I started out being a civil engineer. So I designed things that you can't see. When you flush your toilet, that water has to go somewhere to get treated. So we designed systems for that. So once I did that, I'm like, hey, let me go back and get my master's. So I went and got an MBA because I wanted to understand business. And so I've been a project manager for the last 20 years. And that pivot has helped me to understand business in every aspect. And so that's why I love this business of acting because business is business, no matter what it is. It's important to understand and read the contract. It's important to understand what your scope, execution, and budget is. So it's the same principles that we apply in acting that I apply in engineering. And so I try to go out to the local high schools, talk to young girls about the importance of going into engineering. We also have what's called the National Society of Black Engineers, NSBE for short. They are nationwide. We have a national conference and regional conferences all over the country every year to help young people going into engineering. We have career fairs just to help encourage and uplift them. So that's one thing that we really try to do because I'm old now. So I want to help the younger girls to be able to be successful in this business. And like I said, it's been a challenge. It's been rough, but things are a lot better now in 2026. And so I just want to keep pushing. So trying to do duality, helping people in engineering, helping actors. But again, to me, it's all the same because I just want them to be successful. And I always tell actors that I meet, it's enough work out here for everybody. Your biggest competition is yourself. Maurice's biggest competition is himself. His friends will get the same auditions that he gets. And it's like we're not competing against each other. You're trying to get better as an actor. So what can I do to be better? Because they're going to pick who they want. It has something to do with, hey, he's better than me. It's not about that. Sometimes, again, it's about a look. And so, I just want him to keep pushing. You know, I try and teach young girls to keep pushing forward, to just keep getting better at whatever your craft is.
Absolutely. And we talk about that push so that everybody gets through the door. As Slick said in the comments, it is tough. This business being black and being a woman, you already had two strikes against you. So when you
Yeah.
said you got into engineering, you know who else is into engineering, and she was on a talk show. That would be Lonnie Love. Lonnie
Yes,
Love went,
Yes,
yes.
Lion
Go ahead.
Love is she's my soror, and she actually Lonnie went to Prairie View A&M University, and she got her degree in electrical engineering. Lonnie Love and one of my good girlfriends are line sisters who went to high school together. So during that time, Prairie View was a huge place where a lot of people went, got full ride scholarships. And Lonnie Love is my cancer twin. She's a cancer like me. She's a Delta like me. She's an engineer like me. So I love Lonnie. I just watched her yesterday do a show with Cynthia Bailey. And she is phenomenal. She is somebody I look to as like, wow, she pivoted. Lonnie was like, I'm not doing good at Xerox. I've been an engineer for 8 years. I want to be a comedian. I think I'm funny. Let me pivot. She did that. She kept being an engineer though, because she needed to pay those bills. But she pivoted, went into comedy, talk shows, stand up comedy, and she's been doing this 30 plus years now. So she's amazing. So yeah, I like to look for people who have similar backgrounds to help me realize, you know what, you can do this too. And I never wanted to be an actor, but I love the business of acting, and I love to see actors that are successful to be successful. We always cheer folks on when they get, a role in something. We're just so happy about that because, again, it's enough work for everybody. You got Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, Paramount
Yes.
Plus, Tubi. There is too much content out here for us to even watch. It's overwhelming. So it's enough work for everybody to win. You just have to find your niche, where you fit in at, what is your target, and what is your castable type, and play into that, lean into that, and use that to get roles that make you shine.
Absolutely. And we have to keep breaking barriers, challenge the system, disrupt the system of misogynoir because as Black men, we're fighting every single day. Love your hair, Miss Kiwi. Hi, Deshaun TGIF. Thank you.
It is
Thank
cute.
you. Oh my God. The inspiration for the hair. Let me get into
Oh,
that
it's so
before.
cute, girl. It's cute.
Yes. If you guys know the supermodel Iman,
Yes.
she walked in the Terry Mugler show and she had this big curly hair. And I said, I wanted big curly hair. And the dress that I'm wearing is almost similar to some of the stuff she wore in Mugler's show. So that was the inspiration behind my look. And I will post that at the end of my conversation here with my girl Latonya. We
Perfect.
were just
Perfect.
talking about that. And she says, I love y'all's outfits. We got the beautiful ladies up in here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Deshaun. Yes, I had to go to Pinterest and I was just scrolling down and I said, okay, let me hurry up and put a look together because you guys know my clothes are still at the house. And next week we're going to be moving, me and my brother getting everything together and set in the new place. So I'm looking forward to that, but I still have things at the old house. So I said, let me go ahead and pull. And I said, this dress is perfect. And I saw Iman wear something similar. And I said, the hair, big curly hair, and it
Yep.
worked. So
And
thank
I
y'all.
want to ask you too, how are you doing? Because that is a lot to go through. I mean, you went through hell and pulled it together and looking fabulous. Nobody would ever know you went through all that. So you're doing okay now.
Better, better. I was
Good.
emotional for a
I'm
few
sure.
days. And Latanya reached out. I think Maurice reached out. Deshaun, everybody reached out. Like, how are you doing mentally? And that's why I asked Latanya that question earlier, which is emotionally, how we, doing emotionally. Which is, as Black women, we know how to keep it pushing and keep it moving.
We
And
do,
that's one
don't
thing
we?
that I know.
We
Bounce
do.
back from your trauma.
Yep.
Bounce back. And I'm slowly bouncing back. But I remembered, I'm like, my mama's a Libra, October 7th. She raised a Scorpio. And my siblings, they're other zodiac signs. But one thing I can say for certain is she's instilled to us to not give up. And that leads me to the next part of our girl talk, which is mental health. Latanya, what advice would you give to Black women on maintaining their peace? And through my situation, getting over trauma, overcoming trauma, what advice would you give to Black women on that?
That is that's a lot. Get in therapy. Get a really good therapist. Yeah, it's great to have our girlfriends to talk to about things, our parents, our moms, but you want to have somebody that's a licensed therapist that can really give you good advice to help you move forward. Because a lot of times, we get stuck in our trauma. And again, as Black women, we go through so much. My mother just died actually. She died March
Oh my
18th.
God.
Yeah, and the funeral was April 18th, and today would have been her 85th birthday. My mom was born July 10th. I'm born July 15th. She'd have been 85 today. And so, my mother, I love her to death. We had, it was a challenging situation at times, but I've always loved her. She was just a lot. My mama was a lot to deal with. She was so extra. But, it's hard as Black women. I'm going back home to Kansas City in another week because my niece passed away in a tragic car accident. She was 28.
My
And
God.
so, life hits all of us. It just does. And so we don't look like what we've been through. It's a challenge. I have to always keep it together. I have a 25-year-old daughter, and I always try to make sure that I uplift and encourage her. But I want to fall apart daily. I mean, I'm about to fall apart every single day. It's a challenge, but we can't. I don't have the luxury to do that. I have folks that depend on me, that need me to be there. And so, in order for me to be the best person for myself, I have a great therapist that we do Zoom calls. I try to talk to him as much as I can, just to, see how I'm doing, put together a plan of how I can get better, what tools and strategies, do I need to make me feel better. Go get a massage. Get in your word. It's important for me too. My faith is so important. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God. We wouldn't be here. And God always shows us and gives us signs that we're doing the right thing and we're on the right path. And so, having that connection with God, getting a good therapist, somebody you can talk to and share everything with openly, and then having your good Judy, your good girlfriends. You got that one girlfriend. I've had one that I've been friends with her for 42 years, and she knows all the good, bad, and the ugly. And again, being able to let that person know who you are, who accepts you, who gives you honest feedback, who's there for you to confide in. Nothing beats that. So those things are really important.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm reading Deshaun's comment. Yes, he does check in. I always try to comfort them or say never give up always. Try to find an alternative. And when it comes out to your mental health, how do we navigate and make it through to make it feel better? He also said that you can use bath cleansings, cleansing baths, use
Yep.
cleansing sprays, use crystals, and that usually clears them. Mental health, as it pertains to protecting your peace and maintaining your mental, for us as Black people and Black women collectively. It was Jasmine Crockett, and I'm pretty sure you've seen the clip, Latonya, where she was at Essence, and she was
Mm-hmm.
speaking about, the strength of us, how
Yep.
our ancestors, even during slavery, Black women have been carrying the weight of the world on their back, our mothers, our great grandmothers. And for us, it goes to us, the next generation, our kids. I don't have kids. I have a niece and I have a nephew. And I want to make sure that I'm inspiring the next generation that comes along with me as well, too. So they know the tools of how to deal with their mental health. Make sure that you're maintaining your peace. Because again, for Black women, we're expected to just put on a smile and just keep it pushing and keep it
Yep.
going. But no, there were days like Latonya said she wanted to fall apart. When the fire happened to me June 10th, I was crying. I was literally, I could just stare
Absolutely.
at my brother's window. Where I'm at currently now is with my brother. My mom, I just saw her and she spent the night 2 days and now she's back on the road. And
Hmm.
I just spoke with her on the phone. She came back to drop some things off for my brother to wash. But what I love is that we communicate. Keep a
Yeah.
village of people around you who communicate with you, who love you. As Latanya said for her Delta sisters, you have to have that village. As Black people right now, in the time that we're living at, the attacks against us, we have to make sure that we are keeping a village and a tribe around us. Which
That's right.
leads me to the next part of our conversation in our girl talk, Latanya. Soft girl era, what does it look like for you? Because a lot of Black women are saying, hey, I'm in my soft girl era. We see Tracy Ellis Ross, we see
Hmm.
Taraji P. Henson, and they post these beautiful photos on their Instagram of them taking a vacation somewhere. And I'm just like, I'm so envious.
Me too,
Like,
girl.
I want my skin to glow like this, makeup
Right.
free, in my
Exactly.
two piece or whatever. And
Right.
we're sitting back and we're like in a fantasy, in a daze. Like, we want this.
Yep.
This is what soft girl life looks like. But every woman, every Black woman, defines soft girl era in different ways. So, Latanya, how would you define your soft girl era?
I'm trying to get to that soft girl. I ain't there yet. I'm still a hard girl. I'm trying to get in that soft girl. It's hard, it's a hard balance. And again, it's great, working with Maurice, kind of being his manager, wife, whatever, but we have to make sure we separate that. It's hard to separate the wife and the manager because I get on that boy's last nerve. I get on his last nerve because I am a perfectionist. I am a control freak. I am extremely controlling. I want to be this way, that way, and right. And he rolls his eyes in his head. He's probably doing it right now in there looking at me. But I have to learn to soften up, to again go back to being in my femininity because I'm a very feminine woman. I love, looking cute, wearing pretty little frilly dresses, wearing my little makeup, getting my little hair done. I want to be in that soft girl era, so I need to take a step back sometimes, take a breath, and let him lead. Because again, as a career focused Black woman, when I had met Maurice, we've been married for 15 years. But when I met him, I was like, almost 40, and so I had, been divorced. I was raising my daughter as a single mom, in this career of engineering. So it's tough all day for me. So learning to relax and let him take that lead and let him, you know, be the forefront so I can be soft. That's something that I'm trying to work on. So I would love to be there. I'm trying to get there. So it's important to me to be able to just relax in the fact that let him, he's the head of the household, he's the husband, even though he's an actor, you're helping him, but he's husband first, actor second. So just trying to make sure that I get better with that. And I was doing really good like a month or two ago, but I've been back being crazy again. So I've got to tone it down. I got to tone it down.
Balance, girl. I'm telling you, balance because you're a wife, you're a businesswoman, you all of these things. And again, it goes back to Black women. We are wearing all of these different hats.
Yep.
And shout outs to my girl Faith. Hey Faith, TGIF. We are just here talking about what soft girl era looks like as Black women and how you redefine that. You take it. For me, I of course I like Latanya myself. I love the glitz and the glam. I love getting my
Mhm.
hair and speaking of which, I'll be going to the hair salon tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. And I'll be spending time with my mom's sister, my aunt, and we just talk, and it's so therapeutic. It's so
That's good.
therapeutic sitting in the chair and just talking to your stylist. Your stylist is your therapist,
They
and
are.
talking to them. She understands what you're going through because she's a woman herself, and it's just like, okay, tell me how it is. How are the kids? How's everything going? And it has to be perfect.
Right.
So again, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, but make sure that you are being gentle, defining your soft girl era, whether it's getting a deep tissue massage, as Latanya
Yes.
mentioned earlier, whether it is taking a walk. We're seeing Black women in influx, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the TikTok videos of them in groups doing yoga.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So find your peace, find your serenity, find your space where you can be vulnerable
Yep.
and find the balance because some men don't like it when like Latanya said, when we're all like she said with Maurice, she's always over him, making sure because you're a perfectionist. Again, that's that businesswoman mindset. But it's
Right.
okay
Right.
sometimes to be vulnerable in that and find that femininity as well too and let men lead. But also, we're also the bosses as well too, and
That's right.
they mind that. They
Yeah.
love that about us because that's why they adore us. That you in a relationship with us, they admire that about us because we know how to balance out. What did Beyonce say in "Run the World"? She said, "Strong enough to bear the children and get back to business." And
Right.
it's a lot of pressure on women in the business if you after you, especially after you have a baby.
Yep.
And I think it was we talk about Diana Ross. That's how me and Latanya clicked. She said, Diana Ross, I asked her who were some of the women who inspired her. And you guys can go and check it out. It's me, her, and her husband Maurice. And I said, who were some of the women who inspired her? And she said, Diana Ross. And I lost it because my Diana Ross picture was on the wall in my room at
Yep.
the house at the time before the fire happened. And I'm just like, wait a minute. She said mahogany. That's what it was.
Yes. I
And
love that movie.
it was an interview that she did where the interviewer asked her, how do you find the balance of being a woman, what was it, being a mother and being a singer or an
Mhm.
artist? And she said, I'm a woman first, and women, we've always been taught, we have to get it out from the grind up, you
That's right.
know, find that balance. Even Whitney Houston talked about, she just had Bobby Christina at the time, and she's out doing a red carpet um, interview, and she looked beautiful. I can't remember the designer she was wearing, but the person asked her, "How you doing now that you have this new baby? Motherhood? How's new motherhood?" It's like back to work.
Yep.
Cardi B even said it. She was doing Paris Fashion Week. She was tired. She said after having a baby, you know, it's a lot. I'm having to regroup and
Yeah.
everything. So you're having to go back, reset,
Yep.
basically like learning how to walk all over again. And that's what
Cardi,
it is being a woman in this business.
absolutely. Cardi just had the baby, was back on tour. Like literally, like maybe a month, like 4 weeks later. Like that girl is bad. Like Cardi's like, I got bills to pay. I got 4 kids to take care of. So we just don't never, we don't have time to fall out, to relax. We have work to do. And you see it every day. Cardi is a perfect example of that. My daughter went to her concert, and she had bought tickets, and Cardi was like 7 months pregnant. I'm like, are you sure she's gonna be ready to? She was like, Mama, I know her. And she's like, sure enough, she had that baby. She did that concert 6 weeks later, and she killed it. So we don't have the luxury. We have to keep moving and keep doing. So
And that's what black women do in this business. We always find a way to bounce back. It's the bounce
mhm.
back. And like Latonya said, she was performing and doing this tour, well, and then had the baby. So Ciara's another example as well too
Yep,
of balancing out being a businesswoman. Tiana Taylor is the perfect prime example
perfect.
of that.
Yes.
Being
Yep.
a mother, being a producer. We see her just like Latonya telling people what to do. She's a perfectionist as well too. Well, she's a consummate
Yeah.
perfectionist because Tiana Taylor, she's so innovative. What I can say
Yes.
about her is that she is what you call a renaissance woman, and Latanya as well too, a renaissance woman, where you are able to, okay, Latanya's working in engineering. Tiana Taylor is recording her next album. That's an example. So we see her acting as well too, and
Yep.
not only just acting but modeling. She's and setting fashion trends. So it's to be expected of women in this business to bounce back, and it has to be perfection. It has to be perfect. Whereas guys do not have to really worry about that. They ain't got to
Yep.
worry about that. They can go back and put on a t-shirt and jeans, go back looking good, and come back the next day. But for women, and I think it was Glorilla who said it, he said, women, we are expected to be perfection. There
Yep.
can't be spinach in the tea. There can't be anything wrong. It has to be sheer perfection and
That's
done
right.
perfectly. So it's a
That's
lot of
right.
pressure. It's a lot
It
of
is.
pressure.
It really is.
Yes, she did, and she did her stunts in the film as well too. Slick. That again,
Hmm.
creativity knows no bounds for Black women, and we are the culture. Black people, we are the culture, and that was going to be another question that I wanted to ask you, Latanya. How important is Black women's contributions to the world? Well, we're seeing it being scrubbed away under this regime, and it's like we're working. Jamie Foxx said this in one of his interviews. He said, "The more they try to erase, the more we will replace." And Black people, Black women, we are the culture. So, how important are our contributions to the entertainment and just the arts?
They're extremely important. That was a good example. The BET Awards. That was a perfect that ceremony. The awards was beautiful. How they honored and praised Lauren Hill. Just
Yes.
I mean, it was just beautiful. A beautiful tribute to beautiful, smart, intelligent, talented Black women. And we helped build this foundation of this country. In slavery, we took care of the master's kids as well as our own. We breastfed their child on the left and our child on the right. So we are the foundation of this country. We can't be erased. So it's important for us to keep digging in, keep doing what we're doing, keep building the foundation, keep teaching and mentoring our young girls to follow in our footsteps, keep doing the work. We're not going anywhere. Trump won't be in office for that much longer. He's 80 years old. I think not only are African Americans, but you have Hispanic Americans and white Americans that are really seeing how difficult life has been with him being president. Gas prices are astronomical. Chicken wings cost $5 a piece. It's expensive. Right now, it's been really hard on everybody. The economy has hurt everyone. And so, as Black women, you know, we just keep going. As Black folks in general, we went through Vietnam, we went through the 60s, we went through, inflation with Ronald Reagan, and we come out on top because we know how to survive. Black women know how to survive. We've been doing this for hundreds of years. And so we just get in, do the work and keep grinding. People are falling out crying, committing, killing themselves, having, difficult times, going into psychiatric facilities. But we are like, hey, look, I ain't got time for that. I gotta get these kids, to school. I gotta get to this job. My husband needs this. I got these bills to pay. We consistently just keep moving. And that's what we do as Black women. It's not anything new to us. It's what we continue to do, what we'll keep doing, years and years to come. So I am not worried at all that we're being replaced, that we're going anywhere, because I know us. And I know that we like to, we persevere. That's what we do.
And that's in our DNA as Black people. We have always been told to get it out. You know, pick ourselves up by the bootstraps, and we have
Yep.
took little to nothing and made
Yep.
it work, and we know how to feed our whole village. That's just an example, and we have our power. Even during slavery, we would find ways, little things, take
Yep.
those little things, and we make it work. That's Black people. We've always been taught that it's survival mode for us, and it's nothing new to us. It's
That's
true
right.
to us. It's in our DNA. We're survivors, and we know how to make work. We are the culture. They are
That's
benefiting
right.
off of that, but they will never be able to do it because we are the blueprint. We
That's
are
right.
the originals of this. And that's
That's
why
right.
it's important for people to understand that.
Yep.
Definitely, for sure. So thank God for the BET Awards for giving us something where we can celebrate the culture.
It was
It
fantastic.
was culture's biggest night. And to pour into artists like Lauren Hill and Tiana Taylor, who are both so innovative, as far as writing with the pen. And
Yep.
then Tiana being on the screen like award show after award show, so one battle after another, nomination after nomination.
Yep.
So again, Black women are the blueprint.
That's
We
right.
are. Hello, friend. It's been a minute. How have you been? I am getting better nap time. Welcome. Welcome. We are here with the beautiful Latonya Godfrey. We're just having some girl talk. It's been a minute. So that's why I titled today's show Exhale, because I know it's been a lot on all of us. It's not just Black women, but it's Black people. Um,
Absolutely.
so much has happened under this regime. But one thing Black people we know how to do is rest and find joy. And
Yep.
I must say that our resistance is joy. Our creativity makes us happy as well too, because when we are creating, we are giving something to our people. We are
That's right.
bringing joy to our people, and not just bringing joy to our people, but we are also encouraging people that you live another day. John Witherspoon in Friday says, if you live to fight another day, and that's what Black people we have had to do, is live to fight another day and
That's
survive.
right.
And that's what's going on right now. So we're seeing the gas prices go up. We're seeing everything that is impacting us. But also, I'll say this as well too, because Latanya mentioned the Hispanics and the white Americans as well. They're understanding what our plight, what it's like for us to be us in America.
Exactly.
They're
Yep.
getting a taste of that. It's
That's right.
it's not as easy as it seems. Y'all bite off of our culture, but it's not as easy for us. Y'all have the complexion for the protection, and we are literally fighting for our survival.
That's right. Yep.
So that's what it's about.
That's
That's what
right.
it's about. Again, and it's all man made. It's strategic because the system is not for us. Black people,
No,
we
it's
have
not.
had to prove ourselves constantly. And I can go down a long list of Black women since our conversation today was about centering being Black women in the business. A lot of Black women who had to overcome obstacles to be entertainers.
Yep.
And that one would be Josephine Baker, another
That's
would
right.
be Dorothy Dandridge,
Yep.
another would be Eartha Kitt, another would be Aretha Franklin, and
Absolutely.
one of my faves is Nina Simone.
Mm-hmm.
And Nina Simone, Phyllis Hyman is another.
Love Phyllis. Her birthday would be coming up too. Yep. Love Phyllis. Love Phyllis Hyman.
One thing I can tell you, Latanya, girl, is that she did not play about employing
Nope.
Black workers.
She
She
didn't.
said it in the interview. She said, I want my team to be all Black." She was very specific about it, and that's what we have to do. Even we're seeing the influx of black female filmmakers. Nina Stacks is one.
Hmm.
Kendra Rainey Cooper is another.
Yes, she is Kendra.
We
Yep.
got
Hmm.
Dr. Maya Speller is
Hmm.
another. Amelia Evans. I mean, it's so many out
It
here.
is.
Candace
It
Smith,
is.
who I've had on the show. We're seeing an influx of black female filmmakers. Yes, we got Silk White, we got Nelson Davis, who's a friend of the show here, but we're talking about the ladies. It's black
That's right.
women filmmakers that don't really get enough plight. I mean,
They don't.
in
They
the
don't.
entertainment mainstream, you've got Lena Waithe, Gina
Yes,
Prince,
that's
Ava
right.
DuVernay, Shonda Rhimes,
Absolutely.
Kerry Washington. Whoopi Goldberg has been tapped into her producing, directing
Hmm.
bag. Viola Davis is another. Gabrielle Union, Queen Latifah has her production company.
Yep.
So it's Tisha Campbell is another.
Yep.
So it's all about understanding how this business works, taking lemons as a black woman and making it work.
And
And that's what we've had to do.
Tisha Campbell's another one that you can say talking about pivot. Tisha went through a really, difficult divorce. She lost a
Mm.
lot. When the housing market crashed, she started over. And so she has done phenomenal. She's doing Lifetime movies, and now she pivoted and she's doing stand-up comedy. Who would ever thought Tisha Campbell doing stand-up comedy? But she's a perfect example of what it looks like as an actor to be able to pivot, to figure out, okay, what can I do? Yes, I know I've been an actor since I was a child, but I can do comedy. I can do this, I can do that. And so I can do a talk show. So it's really important that actors kind of, stretch themselves and look at other areas to be able to make money to supply, to provide an income.
Another would be Kim Fields. Kim
Yeah.
Fields is another Latonya. I mean, we've known her as Tootie, but
Yep.
to see her now step behind the lens at Disney and all these other networks, all
Yes.
these other shows, Erica Alexander is another
And Kim
example.
Fields has actually she has her own line of coffee, exotic coffees that she sells. So again, it's just so many different things that you can do as an actor when you get your name out there. You can use that to create other businesses. And yeah, and Erica Alexander is phenomenal. She's always been phenomenal. So
For her to create a comic book and
mhm.
at a time where we're seeing the Black Panther and all of these other black comic book figures, Eric Alexander has graffiti parts. So make sure y'all go and or concrete part. That's what it is. Her
Mhm.
comic books, make sure y'all go and check that out as well too. She's done voiceover work. She's done so many things. As an actor in this business, you have to be able to showcase that range. And
That's
I
right.
always quote Taraji P. Henson. Taraji is another example of that. She said, "Do it if it doesn't scare me." And this was around the time she was doing Empire.
Mhm.
She said, "You know what? I'm going to step out and I'm going to portray different roles other than just Cookie Lyons is what we know her for. We see her in Acrimony, where she wasn't the most liked
Yep.
character.
Yep.
And we see her as the funny best friend in Think Like a Man. And I mean, she's done so much in her career.
Yep.
And then we see Straw.
That was phenomenal.
She broke the mold with Straw.
That was phenomenal. Her range, her vulnerability on screen, the way I mean, her range is incredible. And
Mm.
now she's doing, you know, I think Why'd I Get Married Again, Tyler Perry's new movie that comes out on Netflix. She's starring in that as well too. But yeah, Taraji is phenomenal. She's one that has that range. Straw, that took me by surprise. I mean, I was in tears watching. That broke me. I
Woo.
had no idea the ending was like what it was. That was really great writing on Tyler Perry's part. That movie was raw. It was intense, and as a mother, you could feel that pain. And she showed that on screen. She knew how to present that. It was phenomenal. She did a phenomenal job.
And she is a mom in real life, the same way Tiana Taylor, one battle after another, and it's another
Yep.
film where she was raising her son. It just goes to
Yes.
show the sacrifices that mothers in the business and mothers in real life actually have to go through. They will go to the end of the world and back for
For
their
their child.
children.
That's
And
right.
I know my mom is the same way she raised, and I would do the same for her as her child because she's made so many sacrifices. Mothers in the business have had to make sacrifices so that their children can have. Another example would be Miss Tina Knowles. Miss Tina
Yeah.
Knowles as a mother, dynamic
Absolutely.
because she's got her girls and she's raised them up to say,
Yep.
hey, I know how the business work. I've had my hair salon. I'm styling the girls, dressing the girls while they're on tour, while they're doing these things, I'm the momager basically,
That's
and
right.
I'm balancing out my salon and making sure that my girls have everything that they need. It's called making sacrifices, being a mother in this business,
That's
and
right.
it's not
It's
easy.
not
You
easy.
have to find that balance.
You
Again,
do.
like Latonya said, she wanted to fall apart, and there are days as a mother you want to fall apart, but you are the queen of the castle. And I told my aunt that. My aunt let me do a couple. I said, "You are the queen of your castle.
Yep.
You literally are balancing out work, your side business, your hustle, being a mother as well too." So I'm seeing it even with the women in my family, and that inspires me to keep going.
That's right.
So you have to inspire the next generation of Black women, young Black women, to keep going as well, also
That's right.
too.
That's right. Absolutely.
Definitely, definitely. I hope y'all enjoyed the Girl Talk Fashion Dolls. Before we wrap, Latanya, what are some gems that you tell yourself every morning as a Black woman? Because waking up, it's a beautiful thing. It's sublime to be a Black woman, sublime to be a Black woman because we have such strength, such dignity, such sensuality. We have all of the things that they want, and they can't get it. It's just something about us, even back to our ancestors. You go
That's
all
right.
the way to the motherland in Africa, and I see pictures. I was looking through a hairstyle magazine way
Hmm.
back in the day, and they had the models. Oh, Latonya, I have to send you a picture of it after the show, girl. It was so beautiful. The hairstyles were so Afrocentric
Oh
and
yeah.
just different, and
Yep.
they were braided up, and they looked like Nubian princesses, and they had
Yep.
the things on their arms, the cuff on their arms, and I just loved it. It's something about a Black woman's strength.
It is.
I flipped through Essence magazine, the hardback, where it's like
Yep.
the 50th
I remember
anniversary,
that.
and
Yep.
it's so many Black women, Toni Braxton to Susan L. Taylor, who in
Founder.
the
Yep.
mood. If you read Essence, um, Shirley Ralph, all the
Hmm.
covers.
Yep.
So many. Whoopi Goldberg, Phyllis Siobhan Stickney, Angela Davis, they're all in the book. Maya Angelou, who I love.
Yes.
Um, I look at these women and I see their strength. Uh, for you, waking up in the morning as a Black woman, what are some of the gems that you give to yourself that encourage you to keep going with time?
I just, I wake up, I thank God for another day. I've been really trying to get better about getting into my word. When I get to work, I'll try to read a scripture or something. I try to encourage, that scripture, or that gospel song. Sometimes you got to encourage yourself. And so I really try
Yes,
to, feed into myself. I've been telling myself I'm a millionaire in the making. I keep telling myself money comes to me through my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm trying to put these
yes,
mantras in my place to be, you know, positive, tell myself that I'm doing a great job. I'm doing the best I can as a mom, as a wife, as a manager. Trying to just, pour into myself, encourage myself. And so I just, try to get into the word, I can, just try to read something that will help uplift and encourage me to keep fighting another day. So I'm really trying to get better about that, trying to get better about journaling, just writing positive statements to myself and reciting them out loud, because we know there's life and death in the tongue. So you have to always choose positivity, uh, to yourself and to others, and when you speak positive to yourself and to your life, it comes back to you.
absolutely. And one of the affirmations that I say to myself as a Black woman, waking up first thing, I say, I see strength, I see beauty, I see intelligence, I see abundance. And as Black women, we are abundant because we are the most educated period on earth.
Yep.
We how the business works like the back of our hand. We're getting these positions. We're having to tackle misogyny, racism, all of these things.
Yep.
But mostly what I say to myself, one of the gems that I say is you are powerful. You are a
Hmm.
goddess. And Black women, we are goddesses. It's
That's
something
right.
divine about us. We can't figure it out what it is, but we know that they want some of it.
That's right.
They want our jazz, but they don't want our blues. Those
Thank
are the
you.
plights of being a black woman. Is the fact that we can still keep going. We don't care
Yep.
if the world is on fire. Y'all seen the picture of the black women sitting on top of the roof and the
I love
world is
that.
burning on
It's burning
fire.
up, and we just like, yep, you keep going.
Literally.
Yep.
And we're sitting there drinking our coffee
Calm.
like we just keep going,
That's right.
unbothered,
I love that.
unfazed.
Yep. Yep.
So the gem that I say to myself is I see strength, I see
Mm-hmm.
power, I see dignity. And I can remember I was sitting with an actor, Justin, and he was saying, when I look at you, I see beauty, I see strength.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't look like what we've been through.
That's right. You sure don't. What you just went through less than a month ago. 30 days today. So that's phenomenal. So you should be really proud of where you are right now. That was just 30 days ago. So
And,
yeah,
and that's the gem I say to myself, and that's what the gem that I would say to other young black women as well too, is understand that you are a living testament
that's
and
right.
that we can overcome any obstacle. They will try to shoot you down. They will try to tell you, no, you can't do this because you're a woman. They'll try to, we're seeing them purge black women out of this position. This year, 300,000 African American women lost their jobs as
That's
a
right.
result of that.
That's right.
And they work in science and technology and so
Yep.
much more. It just
That's
shows
right.
how powerful we are, our intelligence, our capability. We understand the game and they
That's
don't
right.
like it.
That's right.
So when you get into these positions, and this was my advice to young black women, is never let them erase your voice. You're valid, black girl, brown girl. Your existence is valid. And never let them erase you because
That's
you were
right.
put on earth here. The creator made you. When God created black people, he created black women as well too.
Yep.
And the weight of the world, we are carrying it. We are carrying it. Black people, we are carrying it as a collective. But one thing we know how to do that's in our DNA is
It's
survive. So
survival.
keep surviving, keep going, keep
That's right.
thriving, keep creating, keep writing. And when you get into a space that is all male dominated, one thing I can say for sure is we show up looking damn good, okay?
Sure do. We sure do.
And they're mad at it. One of
That's
my
right.
guests, even in the pandemic, Latanya, real quick,
Mhm.
he was just like, I don't have a haircut. He's just like, you're lucky. You got a glam team. You got people to do your hair and makeup and stuff. I don't have a haircut. That's something Maurice has to worry about. The guys don't
Yeah.
really have to do much, but women,
No.
we have to have the whole nine.
The whole
So
nine.
but we show up and execute it and do the
That's
job.
right.
We show up in the boardrooms and
That's
we
right.
do what's supposed to be done.
That's
But
right.
we know that
Absolutely.
the world is everything is white male dominated. But as black women, we're gonna overcome. We're gonna show you. We're gonna show you. And they're shocked at our intelligence and how smart we are on certain things, whether it may be
That's right.
science, whether it may be technology, engineering.
Yep.
They're shocked at how capable we are.
That's right.
So keep going,
You
black
too.
girl. Keep going,
Yes. Y'all
brown
keep
girl.
going. Yep. That's right.
That's what
That's
I
right.
would tell you. This was great, Latanya. We got to set it up again.
Yes.
This was
Yes.
our
Thank you.
exhale moment, and I hope
That's
y'all
right.
enjoyed it. So,
Yes.
before we let you go, Latanya, let everyone know where they can follow you. And again, y'all make sure y'all go and support Maurice, her husband,
Yes.
Angels, and Demon
And
Legacy
Demon
December
Legacy.
8th.
Yes, December 8th on Tubi. And yes, and you can follow me at Latonya Godfrey on Instagram. My site is called the Actor Launch Blueprint. My website is latanyahillconsulting.com. So latanyahillconsulting.com gives you all the information you want to know about the Actor Blueprint site, what we do, how we help other actors. And again, my Instagram is Latonya Godfrey. Maurice Godfrey is the actor. At Maurice Godfrey, again, Angel and Demon Legacy. He is Chief Jeff Conley, who is the chief of police. His daughter is Angel, who's in love with the demon. So we are starting part two, December 8th. Shout out Nia Stacks, producer, director, writer. We're excited to see what happens when that comes out. And just keep pressing, keep going. And thank you so much for letting me come on and talk to you again. And I will be happy to come back again and we can have a little girl chat.
I love this. This was needed. I needed we watched Waiting to Exhale, and y'all know
Yes.
which character. I'm Bernadine. I was either Gloria or Bernadine.
So who am I? I'm a
There's
mixture of both.
Savannah, Robin. I think that was
Mm,
yeah.
I'm a little mix of everybody. Like Sex and the City, I'm a little mix of everybody. So
Yes, absolutely. So we needed this, and I hope that you
yes.
guys enjoyed it to send you off into your way into the weekend. Next week is back with the boys. We've got Andre Hollins, and we've
Nice.
got King Case joining me as well to the 16th and the 17th. So make sure y'all tune in, and I will see y'all then. Till
Thank
next time,
you.
Fabiola. You're welcome, girl, and we will catch up. I'm gonna send you those pictures too.
Okay. Okay. You have a good one. Bye
You
bye.
too. Take care.
Bye bye.